The Almost Perfect Podcast. Welcome to the Almost Perfect Podcast, a celebration of fuck-ups, failures, and falling flat on your face. This is a podcast that believes you can learn from experience, but that experience doesn't have to be your own. Hi, I'm Bob Perfect, and I'm a functional fuck-up. Let's learn from someone else's mistakes. So today we are going to be learning from the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend, Fuego Heat. So if you don't know who that is, that's understandable. You're probably not from Durban then. Because if you're a musician in Durban or you're a music lover in Durban, you no doubt know who the one and only Fuego Heat is. Now, Fuego is a DJ. He works at a record store called Khaya Records. And he's also an event planner and promoter. And he's actually just started a new company called Roots Up. Although he's been doing this thing for years and years and years. We actually used to do the thing together. We used to throw a few different parties together back in the day. And I've actually known Fuego for a very, very, very long time. Probably over 10 years now. Definitely over 10 years now. It has to be. So we go back to the hardcore punk days of the Durban scene. And that's, where we first met. And where kind of like both of our careers started, I'd say. Like, the things that led us down the paths that we led ourselves down. Or got led down, who knows. That started all the way back then. So we have a really, really cool chat. Like, I really enjoyed this one. We did it in the closet, or in the storeroom of Khaya Records. And it was, in the beginning, it took a little while for Ryan, that's his real name, Ryan van Rooyen, to get acclimatized to things, to get used to being interviewed. But by the end of it, we got a lot of really interesting information because he has been doing this for a long time, and he's gotten more and more professional at it as the years have gone on. It's not a thing that he started out being a pro at. We actually used to be very lackadaisical when it came to organizing gigs, as you'll hear about. We've got some really fun stories that get shared in this episode. But there actually is so much to learn from Fuego, from Ryan van Rooyen, in that if you just follow your passions and if you incrementally get better at your things that you're doing, you can eventually land yourself into cool positions like he has gotten himself into now. He's now booking a lot more events in professional ways with sponsorship and backing. And it's really boosting the Durban creative scene. It's really helping in a big way. And it's something that, I'm super stoked on. I think it's much needed. It's been needed for years in Durban. And he's doing some really cool things in terms of bringing different sounds together, bringing, different crews and scenes together into the same spaces. And that's creating a really interesting dynamic in the Durban music scene. So, I think the work that he's doing at the moment is incredibly important. And we found out how and why he got into all of that in just a little bit. I'm also going to let you know that I'm going to be in Maritzburg. I've never actually done this, but I hear that other people do it in their podcasts, like in their preambles. They're like, hey, I've got shows coming up. So, hey, I've got shows coming up. As I said, I'm going to be at the Maritzburg Arts Festival, or Arts and Comedy Festival, or just the Maritzburg Festival, or it's a festival that's happening in Maritzburg, and I'm going to be down there from the 5th of this month, which is October. Yes, it's October still. I'm going to be down in Maritzburg. I'm going to be doing some stand-up comedy as part of that festival. But most importantly, I'm actually going to be doing some interviews down there. I haven't decided who I'm interviewing yet. I haven't asked anyone yet. But I will be going down there. I mean, I'll definitely be chatting to Paul Cowan because he is the one bringing me down. And he's one of the organizers of the festival. And I'm really appreciative of that. So thank you, Paul. So I'm going to be down there. So if you're in Cape Town, come and hang out with me. Also, maybe let me know who you think I should chat to, and then I'll try and arrange that because I'm going to be down for an entire week. But that being said, that's it. That's all I got to say to you. Here comes the interview with Fuego Heat. Enjoy. Cool. So what is up?
How you doing? Good.
I am sitting here with Fuego Heat, as he's sometimes known, aka Ryan van Rooyen. AKA, for those back in the day, Right Hand Ryan.
That is a thing.
Is it funny for you to like still be in the music industry now? Like, cause for people who don't know, kind of for a lot of us who know you, you started out as a record dealer, like back in the day, like at hardcore shows. This was the thing that you did. You used to set up your stall outside. You used to sell records before record stores were like in that period where there were no record stores in Durban, and now you work at a record store.
Yeah, fucking full circle. Right? Shit, I have often thought about that. It is weird. Like, yeah, like we've had some of the records that us, like not obviously the exact ones, but like the Slumlords one that like Neil did on Give and Take, like come into the record store, and I'm just like, fuck, I haven't seen this for like 10 years, dude, since the...
I mean, it is possible that some of those records are the exact same ones that you sold.
There's probably a handful of people who bought that in Durban.
So you were originally from Maritzburg, right? How was that?
Terrible.
Not a fan.
It is a wasteland. Always,
You've never spoken kindly of Maritzburg a single day in your life. Like, I've known you for a long time.
I have. It's got the 24-hour spa. That's the one thing. It's got a 24-hour spa. You can cook a lasagna anytime you want.
So
any time of day.
That's the only thing that Peter Maritzburg has that's redeeming. What about, you met some cool friends there, though? You knew some cool people.
Yeah, definitely. That's where I got into kind of music, I suppose. Like, met some dudes at church.
You met some dudes at church?
Got invited to a Fuzzy Gush show, and then that was
Wait, you met some dudes in church, but then you got invited to a Fuzzy Gush show. Fuzzy Gush and church do not go together well.
Yeah, well, Maritzburg was small. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was, Matt Cloak was a dude who went to church and met him through my sister, and then he had homies that were atheists and played in punk bands, really.
So what was the Maritzburg scene like at the time? Because obviously pretty small, right?
Yeah, dude, it's like... that's how I ended up coming down to Durban, as we were driving down here like 3 nights a week just to go to like Wednesday night punk night at Burn and stupid shit like
because
that.
Because in Maritzburg you guys only had the Red Door, right? And that wasn't exactly the coolest spot.
Oh, well, this was even before the Red Door. This was like, there was the Vault, which was like this like 10-meter squared place like upstairs from like a panel beater next to a church and like the arse end of Maritzburg. There was like... Yeah, and then Red Door opened up as Burn, and that was like the great saving grace, and just plays new metal and grunge.
But that was also the thing, they weren't playing the kind of music that you liked.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So you would find yourself coming down here every Wednesday, probably Friday, Saturday as well.
Exactly.
And what bands are you listening to at that time? Or who are you coming down for? What was the whole thing?
Definitely Sibling Rivalry, Low Profile. Again, who else was there around then? Go Bronco, Rising End, Crossing Point. Again, it was the City Bowl Mazas. Did I mention that?
No, you didn't.
City Bowl.
But what made you go all the way from Maritzburg down here? Because a lot of people stay stuck in Maritzburg, like they feel complicit or complacent, and like, you know.
I don't know, dude. I think it was also we had a homie who had a car, and he was older than us. Like none of us had our licenses and that, and it was just like. We could just go steal another post box or blow something up, or we could just like drive for 40 minutes and actually have like a real good time. Yeah.
And then what started you? So Right Hand Records was the first time I kind of knew you.
Yeah.
But that was originally Matt Saville's project.
Matt Saville and Will Edgecombe. Like it started off as a right hand branch of Give and Take Records. Neil's thing in Joburg. And then, they took it over, gave it over to someone else, and then, they wanted to pack it up, and then I was like, okay, well, I'll take it over.
Well, what was that process like? Like, and what do you mean, okay, I'll take it over? Like,
that's
not a small thing.
No, well, dude, like, there's never any money to be made in that process. So, like, it was literally just like, Matt and Will were like, here's the stock. You can have it.
You can have it?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean,
there was some stuff on consignment from Neil and that, and then like they just sent me an introductory email to like their contact at Revelation Records in the States, and that was it. I had a distro.
And then you were importing records?
Importing like international, like punk, hardcore, a little bit of indie, and then also local bands. When they would like roll through, they would leave stuff on consignment with me.
And how did that all work out for you? Like, do you feel it was valuable? Do you feel like it was worth your time? Because you would come in early, set up your stalls, like lay out all the records. And I remember I'd come and like look at a record every single week, and then maybe buy one record a year. So What was that like? I mean, I figure that's an experience that you must have gone through a million times.
Yeah.
Is people coming and looking and talking to you,
Yeah.
but never buying.
With the end of Christian hardcore being so popular, that was the end of like my distro, pretty much, to be honest. Like that crew made it possible. Like,
because
we'd do like the Harvest churches and whatever it was in.
Well,
like,
because they weren't spending
Sunnydale.
money on booze, so they could afford to buy records.
Yeah, like I would buy like $4,000 worth of records at a gig there, and then I'd go to like the Willowvale and like maybe sell like a 25 rand like CD, and that's it. But like the church shows and uprisings, because I used to set up it there. Like that was always good. But like,
so why did you do it though?
I don't know. It seemed like a good idea at the time, and it was also like I got to like get a pretty dope CD collection. I'd get like I got like the first Wonder Year CD before it was even like released. I got as like a promo and like my shit, and then I'd also just like buy CDs every month. Like,
so just as a music lover,
yeah, it was just like, I don't know, it seemed like a cool thing. Like that's how I met, like pretty much got involved in like the Durban like scene. Was like went to a show at the Winston and saw like Matt selling his shit there, and I was just like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
like,
I remember
where can I
shit.
get all these CDs? And then started ordering from him, and then he turned out he lived in Maritzburg and didn't know anyone, so he started hanging out with like us, and then we started hanging out with like his crew and coming through. So like, I don't know, it just, you know what I mean, like it was like it couldn't die, it had to carry on somehow. And
then it did die though. You kind of laid it to rest. When did that happen?
Well, dude, it's like, see, like I remember like when I decided like it wasn't like any point. I went on to Take a Lot, and I found the new Smoke or Fire album at like half the price, and I could actually get it in from like this like
through the distros and
distro
stuff.
like from the States. And
because there's
like,
markup,
well,
there's markup. Then there's expenses of getting it here and everything. And Take a Lot can just
they like can afford to just, and like they were starting to get interesting stuff. Like they weren't getting only like, you know what I mean, like the regulars. So like you could, from a local online buyer, you could buy like fat record bands and stuff like
whereas
that.
before you could only really get that from hookups like you, or you know,
like going straight through the label, where then you like confined to only getting that label's choices.
But nowadays, I mean, that's so different. I mean, even it's weird because, you know, back in the day, hardcore bands, you know, were the ones, I don't know if they were the only ones pushing the vinyl thing, but they were doing it. Like the punk and hardcore scene was on that vinyl tip, and now you check major like stars like are pressing
Taylor
vinyl
Swift,
again.
You can get a Taylor Swift vinyl, you can get a One Direction vinyl,
which is actually making it harder for the smaller acts to get stuff pressed now, because their orders aren't big enough for some of these places, and so they're not, you know, obviously the big orders are getting preference over them. So I've heard it's also driving the price up and stuff like that. So we'll chat about that just now. But then so you gave up Right Hand Records.
I passed it on to Pete Reynolds for a while, and then it's just, I think the writing was on the wall. It's also people weren't buying CDs. It was like we got vinyl in, but it was predominantly CDs and that we were doing. So yeah, like with Blockbuster, like it had its fucking time, and like the small distro, like I feel like it's not really, there's no point anymore to it. It's easier to just do things online. Even if you had to have a distro, just put your shit up online.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's how most people do things these days.
Exactly.
But then, so you then from there kind of became a gig promoter? Like,
kind of, just
because I remember we used to throw some gigs together back in the day, and like I got into
first shout outs to Anna Savage. First started DJing like before
at Unit 11, right?
Yeah.
And also at iHeart Markets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So how did that all start? How did DJing start for you?
Yeah, so Anna heard that I had some vinyls at home, some 80s ones. I think she had seen them and was like, "Hey, do you want to come DJ for 100 Rand bar tab?" I think there was, do you remember like the dragon parties? Like it's a bit of a haze that time, but like
with Brendan Stark and all of them, and like
so
parties got weird. Louis once, I'm gonna chat to him about it, but he
fell
once
asleep in there.
Wow.
I feel like you could start many stories with that. Louis de Villiers once. You could just go places, dude. Like, there's no fucking confinement with that.
No, definitely not. Yeah, we've had some interesting times. I actually had great... I kind of got to know him there at Unit 11. So you just started DJing because someone asked you to?
100 Rand bar tab. I was a student. It was cheaper to drink. And then people started paying me a little bit. And I was like, what? Like... yeah.
So it was a
That's
way
how
to
that-
turn your passion like back into some sort of like to
Yeah.
also, like what was it for you to start DJing? Because I mean,
Well, did you know when I started DJing? It definitely wasn't a passion at all. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not going to be playing like 80s cheese as a passion. Like, I don't
But
know. I
people
just saw
love
that,
that,
like,
though.
people, yeah, exactly. I think it was more not a passion for the music, but just like, I knew that O's would dig to jam to those tunes, and no one else was playing them. So,
And
like,
where
when
did-
I'm drunk, that's what I dig to dance to, dude. Like, wham, wake me up before you go, dude.
Yep.
It's just like, it's golden.
So how
when
did-
you're drunk, but when you're like playing it to an empty dance floor and no one's dancing and
Is
no
it
one's
sad?
even there, it's just like, why am I fucking doing this?
I would rather
'Cause-
be playing something I actually listen to.
yeah, because then you can just put your headphones on and close your eyes, and it doesn't matter.
How did Fuego Heat come about as a DJ name?
Oh yeah, I was on study break and I was supposed to be studying, but I just was given the complete all seasons of Malcolm in the Middle. So I decided that I was just going to use my study break to binge watch that,
As all
so
students
that I
do.
wouldn't have any distractions during exams. And there was just one episode where anytime a pretty lady
That's
walked
Fuego.
past, they were like just busting out, "It's Fuego, Fuego." And I just woke up that morning and I was just like, Fuego Heat, that sounds good. Like, I'm just going to dress in cheesy gold blazers and shit and play like surf
Yeah,
music.
that used to be a big part of your act was the
dress
dress up.
up, dude. Yeah.
And why don't you do that anymore? Is the character dead?
It's just,
Too
I
much
think
effort.
it was,
too much
yeah, I
work.
think it was also just a time and a place, you know what I mean? Like, I've thought about it now. I've actually like even gone to like, I mean, like, this is an important gig, I should dress up, and I've
Yeah.
taken my stuff there and just been like, nah,
I'm gonna
nah,
sweat.
nah.
I don't want to wear a suit.
And
so,
also,
like,
it's just like, I suppose it's also like now the stuff I play, like I'm trying like to play music that I actually dig. So it's not like I'm not trying to push this like gimmicky vibe, like where it's like when I'm playing just like a purely like cheesy 80s pop set, like that's a gimmick.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? That's not like, I'm not trying to play anything that someone would be like, yo, that's actually rad, dude. Like, what is that?
so why not like split them between like Ryan van Rooyen and Fuego Heat? Or is there like now brand name like
No.
equity with Fuego? Or,
No,
or is it because
I don't enjoy playing that anymore at all. Like, because of weddings and stuff. I still do it at weddings and that, like, because gotta fucking pay the bills. But
Yeah.
like literally, I've listened to like those 80s songs just too many times that it just kills me inside.
It kills your
and
soul
like,
now.
even when like I'm playing it, I'm just like, oh god, like I can't believe I'm doing this.
But then all the drunk white girls are just
Yeah.
like, yeah, this is my
Yeah,
song.
dude. Yeah, pretty much. Like, yeah.
Are you
so-
over doing weddings now? How did you get into DJing weddings? And like how much of your lifestyle has been funded by it?
Sorry, I'm chewing some ash.
Yeah, no, we can hear.
I forgot about that. Yeah, someone just like, I was DJing a bunch at Unit 11 and that, and one of the Unit 11 homies, Greg Davies,
Yeah.
like was like, hey, do you want to DJ our wedding? And I was like, oh, okay. And I did it for way too little money and DJ'd like the whole thing on vinyl, but I was like, oh my gosh, like I
But for
literally,
you, it was
okay,
an
I'm gonna,
opportunity.
yeah, dude,
You're like, I want to do this thing.
but yeah, dude, like, okay, Greg, if you ever listen to this, I'm not dissing you because I was super amped on the budget then, but it was like $2,000 and I had to hire sound for 600 Rand. I had to pay Sarah Dawson to drive me to like Tyler. Like, I ended up making enough to like, it was $900 I ended up making, and I was just like, I can buy a 2-channel mixer. I don't have to, because remember when we were hiring it, like every
Oh,
time we
God,
needed
yeah.
like to do a party, we would have to like spend like 300 Rand and like generally get like an 8-channel one where all we needed was like just a
Yeah.
simple 2-channel.
Well, that's actually,
So
yeah.
like that, like I was just like, but yeah, and then that's how it started, and then slowly more and more.
So what got you into organizing your own gigs? Because, yeah, this is something where I think we relate to quite a bit.
Yeah, that was literally with Louis. We did the Scud
Scud
Pub.
Pubs,
Yeah,
yes.
dude, we were just like, Unit 11 had closed down, and it had been like a couple of months, and we were like, we haven't partied with our friends really anywhere. Let's just have a random party at a random sketchy pub.
And so you went and approached different venues and asked them for drink specials, and you
Well,
said
the
you'd
first
bring
one
people
we
there.
didn't even tell them, dude. The one at Flagons, we were just like,
We're just gonna show
like
up.
just they got karaoke on a Friday night and their drinks are cheap. We're just gonna have a gig there, like, and the gig is the dude doing karaoke, like. So we just made some memes and like 30 people showed up and like.
Yeah, memes were a big part of your marketing tactics for a long time now.
Well,
actually.
yeah, dude. Yeah, pretty much try to be internet. Like.
But do you find that, like, because you also make a lot of your own posters, or you have, I don't know how many you still do, but do you enjoy the, like, all the different creative aspects of putting together a gig? Because personally, like, I hate, like, a lot of it. Like,
Yeah,
that's
no,
why I don't
dude,
really do
there's
it anymore.
definitely like a lot of it is just tiresome. Like there's obviously like certain times like certain things will make me stoked, and like thinking like for my stages I could take all the plants and stuff. Like I don't enjoy carting it around, but like then at the end when I look back I'm like, oh, okay, it was worth it. Like literally every time we have to carry plants I'm like just like, Damien, this is so fucking stupid. Like why are we
I mean, I
like
would
taking
never.
2 carloads worth of plants to a place? But then when we set up and the lights on and shit, it's like, okay, it was worth it.
So, like, now your signature, like, for your events?
Yeah,
that they're
dude,
gonna...
plants, like a fuckload of plants. That's my vibe.
But, so, how did you get into actually organizing gigs? So, you were doing Scub Pub, and then when did you start booking bands? And, like, do you remember?
Yo, I don't, eh? Like, I think it might have been at Jack Rabbit's.
Okay.
Like,
Weren't you doing other things before that?
we were doing, like, DJ parties and stuff, like, but... Like, yeah, we had a Scub Pub at Jack Rabbit's once, and then just had a good relationship with Lee, and he was amped to, like, spend, like, money on doing things.
Yeah, he had actually put in a bit of budget, which was useful.
We could always, like, at least guarantee, like, a Joburg band, their, like, travel costs down, and then do, like, another act, a gig somewhere on the Friday night.
Which
to
still
actually
isn't,
earn
like,
them.
a lot. Like,
Yeah, dude, it's... No, we were definitely working. Like, you know, like, whenever we did gigs there, like, it was, like, weird DJ, so that there was just, like, an extra name on the bill. Like,
Exactly.
But it was for free anyway. Like, we
that-
wouldn't earn any money from it.
I mean,
like-
that's essentially how I got into DJing, was from organizing gigs and then just being like, well, I don't want to pay someone to open, like, you know, the DJing or to
and,
be,
like,
like, the
4 acts
closing
look
act.
better than 3, though.
Exactly. And so there you go. It's one less person that you have to, like,
Exactly.
divide the money with.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, I mean, I've got some pretty good taste, and like,
Yeah.
same, so do you, and you've got like a wild music collection, so it's pretty cool to share that. But now you've moved on from, you know, just kind of, I mean, I guess you might still scrounge a little bit, but you've become the guy when it comes to, like, gigs in Durban. How does that feel? Like, you are literally like the guy that everyone, like, comes to when they need to, like, organize a gig.
I feel like it's probably misinformed in a lot of ways. Like, I don't know, like, yeah, obviously I've, like, I think in the last little while people have all said, like, a lot of shit to me about, like, oh, you're doing things, but it's like, I don't know, sometimes it's just like, things are tough, you know what I mean? It's not like a lot of people come in, it's just like, yeah, every Friday you, like, throws banging, and it's like, no, it's because you were at the ones that were banging, like,
Exactly.
you weren't there for, like, the 6 in between, like,
And
that
also
were
for
just
the
like,
years,
dead,
like the
dead.
years that we've been doing this,
Yeah.
where like you're barely covering each time.
Yeah,
like you're
dude.
scraping by. So like anytime it sucks, it's soul destroying.
Yeah, dude, like, it's like, yeah, it's hard not to take it personally, like, because it's just, you put
Because
in
it's
all
so
this
much
effort,
work.
and it is something that you personally invested in, like,
Because a lot of the time you're booking acts that you believe in, right?
yeah.
So for
Exactly.
you, I know this about you, is that a lot of the time when you're putting a gig together, it's because these are the acts that you want people to see.
Yeah.
It's not just this is what's gonna sell.
Yeah.
So-
So yeah, it is. Yeah, that's also, yeah, a tough part of it, especially when it's like someone like that, like, you put in all this effort, and like, especially like, obviously the more effort you put in, like, in terms of like promoting and stuff, everyone gets this kind of ampness, and then like to watch like this musician just like perform to like 5 people, like, it's just like, I'm so sorry, like,
But at the same
I
time,
wanted such better things for you.
have you not gotten used to it by now? Like the ebb and flow.
Oh, you
that's-
do have to, definitely. Like we had the hangouts last night, and it was pretty, like,
Was it
pretty
average?
goddamn mediocre. But like, yeah, it's like,
But you're
it
also
gets
not worried
easier.
that
But then
doing
there's
it so
also,
much that like maybe people, like, you know, would ebb and flow with it as well. So I mean, if you're doing a gig every single month,
Yeah.
people aren't going to come every month.
yeah, I know that's exactly it. And it's also, yeah, and you get used to that. Like, this is like, yeah, the 9th one we've done, so it's, yeah, definitely like used to that. It's more the ones that, you know what I mean, where you put in like all the effort, and you're just like, okay, like I've drained myself for like,
Yeah, that was like
months.
first o'clock for me. Like the last one where they were like, I shouldn't be too ungrateful. There were only like 40 or 50 people, but like it was a lineup of like 8 acts that
Yeah.
were all just good. And like if you like check those acts now, they'll probably each pull like 50 to 100
Yeah.
people, and it's just like, fuck all of you
Dude,
for
like I
like not
did
showing
such
up.
good things and still.
Still, you didn't come.
Yeah.
And is that like the biggest issue that you have with promoting in Durban?
That.
Well,
like I did like
I know
to
there's
me
probably
that
two.
yeah that's not really like a lot of the time I just look at it now as in terms of like, okay, I need to do something better, like even like, you know what I mean, like
Yeah,
the plants,
I'm with
like
you.
like the plants, like
Make it more
it's-
of a vibe.
yeah, like to me for a show, like if I went there and the music was kept, like I would be stoked, like, and I'd go back to the next one.
Yeah,
like
I'm the same
a lot
way.
of people want like more than just the acts, they want like the production, like, you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
if like it doesn't work, it's like, okay, I need to like try and make something else. I need to do like, let's have fucking lawn games, or let's, you know what I mean, to
Yeah,
try
make
and get
it
like
more of
people
an
be
event.
like, wow, that was actually really cool, like, because it's not just the music that.
But how do you
that
feel
does
about
it.
that?
Dude, I feel like salty about it a little bit. Like,
That you have to have
obviously, like,
gimmicks.
yeah, it is, but it's also like, it is. I fucking hate saying that, but it is 2018 now.
Yeah,
like,
it's
you know
modern
what I mean?
entertainment.
Like, and if we want to do anything for Durban musicians, like, you got to play that game, because like that's the game that's been played by everyone.
Yeah.
Like,
So here's a question: why do you want to do anything for Durban musicians? What have they ever done for you? Like,
oh, just giving me really good times. That's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's the whole like, why do we every like 3 years have to be just like looking for new, like obviously we want to look for new acts and that, but
Yeah.
like every like 2 or 3 years you just like, God, like all the dudes who I used to book are just like either not doing the thing anymore, or they've like moved somewhere else to do the thing, and it's like, but I still want to watch that person like
Yep.
perform, like
yep.
I want, you know what I mean? So it's, I suppose that's why. And there's also just some really good people out there, like, who are trying to do their thing, like that. It's hard to do things in isolation, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you are trying to be a musician and like push your vibe, like, to then, like, yes, you can go and organize your own shows, but that's like a lot of time and effort away
When
from
you
what
should be
you're
making
doing.
music.
Like, yeah, and like, I know there are people who appreciate that, and like musicians who do it, and that makes it kind of worth it. Like,
See, well, I mean, I found the opposite. Like, I kind of found, but there are a group of musicians who do really appreciate things, but
no, they definitely are. No, like, there's,
but there are a lot that don't.
yeah,
like
100%.
And have you had to deal with that a lot? And how do you now pick who you work with?
like and it sounds hectic, but like I try school O's.
Yeah, I've
Like,
noticed
a
you
little bit,
lecture
like,
a little bit online now.
no, like, but it just in terms of like acts as well, like it's like there's a lot of guys who like will just like fuck around and shit, and like, so like if you come to like my show, like I booked you, like I've had like, this is like one of my favorite, like O's rock up and they just like get there like 20 minutes before they said, and they just have like nothing, and I'm just like, dude, like, are you kidding? Like, even the email says this is what we supply, you need to bring this, whatever. And like, so then I'll just like, I'll cuss them out, and then I won't book them for like a couple of months, but then like I'll book them again,
And
like,
see
and be
if they
like,
do it again.
yo, dude, no, like I won't even like give it up to chance, like be like, yo, dude, like don't do
fuck it
that
up this
again,
time.
because it's like, you know what I mean, like to write some, yeah, it's
Be professional.
Yeah,
like
but
even if
it's
it's a
also
small
like,
gig.
yeah, I'm not gonna write O's off and not work with them just for that. Like, if O's are dicks, just straight up dicks, I won't work with those. Like,
Yeah, it's a
like
personality based
that's
thing.
like, yeah, I'd rather work with like someone who's less talented but is like a good person.
Yeah,
Like,
100% every day of the fucking week.
Yeah,
like
it's yeah, life's too short to like just be
Deal
pulling
with
your hair out,
assholes.
just being like, wow, this dude is such an ass.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've dealt with many musicians over the years, and I've literally got a list of the people I'll work with and stuff, and I'll cross people off, like, sometimes the first time, like, sometimes
Yeah.
if you're a fucking asshole, you're cool, nope, and
Yeah.
others, like you do, you know, just get dropped to the list, down the list a little bit if they, like, you know,
Yeah.
didn't put in the effort, like, weren't worth my time and efforts, then I'm going to lower you down a little bit, but we'll probably talk about it.
Yeah, definitely, because Like I feel like there are a lot of musicians in Durban who want to be professional, but they just don't know like the
How?
tools. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
because
Like,
they don't have a lot of experience with
Yeah.
gigs. Like even
Yeah.
like people are making tracks on their back rooms, but they hardly ever get to perform them. And so
Yeah.
when they do get booked for a gig, they don't know what the protocols are.
yeah,
and, like,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah, I've got like a A4.
Do you send out a
email
list?
now. Like, I've got like it's built like from the first time. It was just like, please can you be there 30 minutes before your set? Then it's like, oh, please can you bring your equipment? And it's just like grown and grown. So like when you book, it's just like, here's everything you need to know to get you. Like even now I send out like a template invoice with my stuff, and it's like if you don't have an invoice,
just use this.
there's this one. Just say
Are
there's a
you-
PDF.
So you must be registered as a business, right?
Yeah, we registered last week.
Don't worry, I also only registered
Yeah.
like in the last few months, so
Yeah.
I know the vibe. Because now you're making some money, you got to pay taxes, you got to invoice, you got to do all of
Yeah.
that stuff. Is that daunting now?
Yeah, it's hella daunting. Like that's not my vibe, being that kind of person. Like I've known I've had to do this probably for like the last year,
Yeah,
but
no,
I've just literally been using the last year to try like coach myself on doing it, because it's just like tax, dude. Like
Yep.
tax scares me, because it's like I'll get my income from like
A million different
6,
sources.
7 places a month, and like have expenses for all like if I do a wedding, there's like paying my assistant
Petrol,
and buying
yeah.
like food for them on the road, and like, oh, this cable, and like, oh, I just need to buy this like insulation tape for this quickly.
whereas that
and
stuff we would
like,
normally just pay for ourselves,
Yeah,
like
I
out
ju-
of your pockets, and just go,
yeah.
here you go. Like
But now I'm like, if I have to pay the tax man for shit, like I need to make sure like that they know that all those stupid little things that I bought are actually like
for the business.
yeah.
Yeah, I also need to track my stuff this year because it's been like just buying equipment and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and you're just like, I'm still paying like double on this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, someone actually asked a question on Twitter.
Oh.
This is Andile Njini G. How's it, bro? Salute to Fuego. Being someone who is heavily involved in the Durban music scene, what have you noticed are the pros and cons when working with upcoming acts, and what can be improved to make artists and promoters work relationship better? We've kind of discussed that a little bit.
The pros definitely like, dude, like, okay, so like again, like last night the hangouts was like not rad, but our 3 artist showcase acts were all fucking amazing. Like all the acts were amazing, but like it was just like, oh my gosh, like here's 3 acts that like I can immediately like work with and like book for things, and like that's fucking dope about new acts. And like it's also like the O's are more, I don't know, like
Hungry.
yeah, just there's like often, well, sometimes not the case, sometimes more, but like O's are less like ego driven, like as well, like. But sometimes
Although
you'll
sometimes it's
sometimes you get
hilarious.
the polar opposite of that, and O's just come in like hot as fuck.
Yeah,
dude,
think
and I'm
they're the
just
shits, and like they
no,
can't even
yeah.
rap on beats, and you're just like, oh
Yeah,
Lord.
but like generally, like a lot of the new acts that I've been working with have all just been like really genuinely like nice people, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, that's cool. Like, and yeah, just hearing fresh new stuff. Then the cons though, it is like I said, like a lot of them just don't have the toolkits, and like I understand it. It's like, you know what I mean. Like I went to like,
would you ever
I went
consider
to, like,
doing
a-
like a little course, like a
well, there's this bandistry thing that started like
where they didn't really consult anyone in Durban before
Yeah.
coming here and all of that? Yeah,
but like see how that goes. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, but there's no reason why
hopefully-
you guys couldn't do something here at Khaya where you just do like a little workshop vibes,
Yeah.
like come through, learn how to interact in the industry, like not even like the big scale stuff,
Yeah.
just the stuff of like how to work with you.
I have thought about that, but like I'm no good with like talking things.
You're doing
Like,
fine here.
but like with 2 people would be like a whole nother thing. Like the
Well,
way
then
like
maybe
I kind of
maybe
look
you
at
can
it as-
develop the content.
Curriculum.
Yeah, exactly, and have someone else teach it. I don't know, because I do
Yeah.
think like this question was asking you, there is definitely space for that. There is
Yeah.
like you're saying, people don't know how to even come and perform at gigs, like
Yeah.
like what they need and stuff like that, how to
Yeah.
even get booked, like how, if someone wants to get booked, how can they get booked with you?
Like just send me through their stuff.
How do they do that? Email?
Well, now we have info@rootsupentertainment.com.
Okay, so you've just started Roots Up Entertainment with Shaq.
yes, Mishak Newman.
Yes.
Yeah.
why do you pick him as a business partner, or how did that all happen?
He's the best dude.
is.
He is just the best dude, and just is always getting shit done. You know what I mean? He's worked on like a lot of like noteworthy things in Durban over the years. Like,
Yeah, he's been
I've
in the
always just known
background.
him
but-
from just like dropping off flyers for like everything here. Like, I'm just like, how does it, like, you know what I mean? Like, from like some
He knows a
hip hop
lot,
show to
yes.
like some like art thing, and I'm just like, this dude's just like everywhere doing everything all the time.
yeah.
And and he's the best as well. So it just made sense.
And-
He's got a passion for like the industry. He wants to like grow young arts, like, and help like bring up young artists and stuff. So it was just
Just similar to you.
Yeah.
And how many gigs are you guys doing at the moment? Because you got the Hangouts, you got Sunday Sunday school.
Yeah, so Hangouts is once a month.
On Thursdays.
Yeah, on the third Thursday of a month, and that's just like mixed genre, like live music. Like,
It's
we've
been at
had-
S43 for a while, but it's now moving.
It's going to be moving to Republic in Florida Road from next month. And then we got the first Thursday that we've been doing with Vans for like 3 years now.
Yeah,
and
which has
that's
moved all over because
Yeah.
of just the way
venues
Durban goes.
and things and all that. And then we've got the Sunday school, which we've just started. That's every 2 months with Red Bull Music, and that's pretty much like 2 DJs in the afternoon on a Sunday, like chilled out vibes, and then 2 local acts. And then we had Easy Freak last week, and I suppose by the time that this comes out, it'll probably
It'll be a little bit longer because
we
you're probably
got-
going to be in 3 episodes time coming
Okay,
out.
cool. Well, Darky Fiction. Like, are coming
Well, what
for-
date's that?
That's it's going to be 30th of October.
Oh,
Yeah,
October.
yeah,
Perfect.
the end
Oh,
of-
this will
yeah.
be out before then, so
And
perfectly.
we would have announced it because we're announcing them on Friday.
Oh,
Next Friday,
dope.
so.
That's really fucking cool because they're actually, blowing up a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, did they? And like, again, like, we met them at Opie, and just like the nicest people, dude. Like, we were just like Sean, Chad, Ash, and I were just like, oh my god, come and be our friends.
So is that now like the requirements for working with you? You've just got to be a
dude,
nice
just
person.
like, I don't know, like, because you know what I mean, like, we all fucking like struggling in this. Like, the last
Yeah.
thing you need is someone just like not being accommodating. Like, I'll be as accommodating as I can to you, but like, I just like give me the same like decency back. You know what I mean? Like, just you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like there is no
No-
time and there's no point. To
And there's
just
no
be a
real
dick.
hierarchy. Like
yeah,
it's just we work together in this scene.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the only way it can be and should be. So, well, no, it's not the only way it can be. You can make it being a dick. And,
Well,
like, let's be
yeah, I mean, a
honest,
lot
you
of people,
can just,
but that's not really in our like because there's so many different sections of this industry.
yeah,
Like in our independent section is kind of based on just getting along with each other.
yeah, like definitely, like pretty much like every act I've worked from Joburg and that that has been like through the.
And
the
we made a lot of cool
independent
friends,
sounds. Like,
yeah.
yeah, exactly, and they've all been such nice people. Like,
Yeah, man. Like my favorite are still the Moths.
yeah,
man.
dude,
Like
yeah.
all of them are just the friendliest
Yeah.
dudes. And like we brought them down after seeing them at Smoking Dragon, wasn't it? Or I mean I remember I did that. Like I saw them
I
at
think
Smoking
you
Dragon
brought them down
the first
and
time.
then Lou and I did them after that, and then we did them with makeovers after that.
Oh, yeah,
again.
shit. Yeah, fuck. It's been so
Yeah.
many gigs. Like, which is your favorite gig that you put together? Like, do you have one? Like, what was your favorite lineup?
gig. Favorite lineup. Like, there's been ones that have been like super, just like Sibusile Klaba and Sankla at the
Yeah.
KZNSA. Like, that was just like, what the fuck? Like, something special. Like, they played like in the thing
gallery.
and like there was this cool like protest poster like exhibition going on, like where it was like it traveled around the world, and whoever hosted it had to print out like more and add to it.
Yeah,
and, like
yeah.
just really kept posters around them, and just like in the middle with these plants everywhere. And yeah, that was really nice. But I don't know, like, I'm very stoked on these like Sunday school like lineups that I'm getting on. We've got like for December we've got a dope one coming. Can't say anything, but it's like, yeah,
And is that now
Like-
thanks to Red Bull? That's like you able to step up a bit, I guess.
yeah, dude,
Get
like,
bigger acts,
yeah, they've come in with some money. Like, it's still,
which is rare.
Yeah.
if you've ever worked in the music industry, you know you can get equipment from Red Bull.
Yeah.
No worries. But yeah.
yeah, I was lucky enough to like, and shout out to Paul, the owner, Khaya. One of the national cultural manager came in here, and Paul just like hyped me up a bunch. So I got to
Dope.
like So I'm dealing with like directly Red Bull Music.
Yeah, and Red Bull Music
which
does
is
do a lot
like
of good stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, like, so, and
But
it's
so-
also like I've kind of like with the first Thursdays been taking off, like there is a little bit of money where we can take risks now a little bit, you know what I mean? Like that's like I don't know if you saw, I did that like Lucky Packet party, like I did.
Oh,
two of
yes,
them at
yes, I was,
Absolute,
yeah.
and like the second one just flopped hard, so hard, like terribly.
But it didn't cost you
But,
too much because
yeah, we had like the money from first Thursday that we could be like, okay, at least like.
And how important though is having like brands like Vans and Red Bull involved? Because in our early days, getting
Yeah.
sponsorship was a dream. Like that
Yeah.
was just like, fuck. Like if we
Yeah.
could have done that sooner, we could have had so many more bands.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. But yeah, no, it definitely is like because like with First Thursday they.
But how did that actually happen? Like, is it because you've built up your name beforehand, or like did
dude,
you know the right
Vans
people?
was just
or-
lucky as hell, dude. Like I literally like I called up
Patrick Duff, yeah.
who was worked there, and I was just like, dude, like we've been struggling for so long and not getting sponsorship. Can like you just like give me some advice on like
how to make it
how do
happen?
you actually do this? And he was like, okay, we'll call you tomorrow. And then like they called me and I was like, well, this is what I want to do. And they're like, okay, we'll sponsor it. I was like, oh, okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
it does make sense for them. It is within their brand, and like,
Yeah.
like that's the thing. Like, I mean, the gigs that you put together are, and like Red Bull as well. Like that makes sense. Do you think having the van sponsorship might have also helped get Red Bull involved in the other gigs? Like, do you think?
Probably.
And do you think now it'll give you more of a legitimacy having worked with both of them?
Yeah. No, for sure. Like definitely, because I know Red Bull do like a lot of work with Vans as well. But like we've also like I've learned like we used to just like hit up people and just be like, hey, we want to do this thing. Like what like now. It's like 14-page PDF proposal. Like, this is what I can do for your brand. This is what like you can do for us. These are like our outcomes, our social media plan. Like,
And how did you learn that?
Carla.
Khaya Records is definitely someone in Durban who I actually need to get on
Yeah.
this podcast. She's done a lot of different things.
And she like pretty much was like, look at this, and I was like, oh my god, that's what we've been missing our whole life. Because
Like a
I
proper
kind of
plan.
knew I needed to do a proposal, but I just didn't know what a
I still hate
proposal
doing them,
was.
bro.
And no, they're not fun. Like they suck so hard.
Yeah,
like-
but I mean, my last proposals got me sponsorships
Yeah,
for my
exactly.
comedy
So-
festivals, so I can't knock them too much. But it is also like there, I kind of knew someone there, and so
Yeah.
having the proposal just backed up what I was doing.
yeah.
But I mean, I guess it is a little bit like it's luck about who you know
Yeah.
in those situations. Or
But
have
it's
you
also, like,
have you sent
you-
proposals to complete strangers and like they've been like, cool, let's do it, or has it been that thing of
Yeah.
you've had to know someone there?
Well, no, for like I did the Soul Sundowners
Yeah.
things that we had Southern Comfort on board with that, and that was like a complete just like
Send a proposal.
yeah, I just
And the numbers
phoned
lined
and
up.
the secretary said you should phone this person, and then I asked her what her name was, and then phoned that person. I was like, oh, I got your number from so and so. Like they said I should give you a call. Just listen, I've got this, I've done this, and like I'll send you through a proposal.
So having a
And then-
CV helped. And
Yeah, definitely, and yeah, just I suppose kind of almost blowing out of proportion some of the stuff you've done in the beginning, like
Fully fake it till you make it.
bro. Yeah,
So, because that's the thing, I'm trying to like get like some sort of advice here for people who might want to put on the
Yeah.
other gigs, because I'm sure you're tired of being like one of the few to be doing it all the time and like
Yeah.
having like that responsibility on your shoulders. So, what sort of advice can you give like new up and coming promoters? Because there's so many people in the industry who want to be musicians, but
yeah.
you need promoters, you need people to put on gigs.
Like I don't know, I think like especially like with
Also,
working
do you
at
consider
Khaya,
yourself a promoter?
I suppose I do now. Yeah, like I don't know, like
Event organizer.
people ask me what I do, and I'm just like things like
a lot of different
yeah.
things.
But like especially dude, I've dealt like with like having working at Khaya and doing the shows here and people wanting to do stuff. It was like taught me where like a lot of guys just need to plan.
Yep.
Like guys will come through and want to do something in like 2 weeks time and be like,
Like,
I
no
want
one's
to
gonna
kind
show
of do
up.
this like thing that's like if like you want to do something, especially in the beginning, like when you don't know what you're doing, because like now for like a Khaya show, it's like I mean like 2 weeks before I can be like
Yeah, you know
like,
the
'cause I've
setup.
done the like it's the same rundown like every time, but like just take your time, like plan to like get your shit done, and like it's like getting the event out there is like the most important thing, you know what I mean? Like
Yep. Promoting.
just like give it some time and get like your artwork and your lineup sorted, so you can get that out there, and then like then you can start even like organizing your sound after that if it's like long enough ahead. But like just plan things. Like it's also like that's why I understand why like some
Do you have a checklist now?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So like for each gig you go, this is done, this is done, this is done, this is done.
Like with like especially with like the monthly ones, like with First Thursday and Hangouts, like we've got like cool on this date before the previous event, like these emails need to be sent, that needs to have been got from this person, like this far before the event needs to go up, this long before we need to start doing artist drops. Like,
would 16-year-old you hate you right now?
Yeah, I think it would confuse him a lot. Like, dude, I think like
this isn't even how.
Dude, I think like
28-year-old
me, like 29-year-old me would be like, who the fuck are you, bruh?
But you found the efficiencies, obviously, like, because I mean that's the thing. We used to do gigs and they were fun, but they were slapped like
arrive at 8 o'clock with like the things like, sorry late, if I can get the music going now.
Exactly, like, and now it's the complete opposite, and you're finding way more success with it now though. So do you feel like that shift?
It makes it easier, you know what I mean? Like, if I can like go to an event and like there's no stress in it, like the only stress being, are the people gonna come?
Yeah.
Like, it's easier to do another one after that. But if it's like you trying to run on your way to get there, try to get this, and like it's just like the whole thing's just like crazy chaotic, like you're gonna finish that and be like, oh,
that sucked.
Dude, like that I need to wait like another like in a couple of months before I do it again. But if it's just like, if you build a thick skin to the fact that people aren't gonna come and your process is like not stressful building up to it, then it's like, well, why not do it again? Like,
yeah, fair enough. And what's it like working in a fucking record store, man? Like I was saying, so you started out selling records like at the Winston and stuff like that, and now you're like, you work in a record store, like a thing that I don't think we would have even expected to exist like 10 years ago. So how did this come about, first off?
Well, I was taking way too long to complete my master's and my funding,
marine
biology, and my funding ran out, so I was getting hella broke, and I already said to my girlfriend I was gonna shave my beard and become a waiter again if I didn't find anything by the end of the week. And I just posted online that I was looking for a job, and Paul was like, hey, well, I've just had a kid and I've got a record store, so I need someone to like work here like 2-3 times a week if you want to just sit and write your masters.
And how big of a life-changing event has that actually been? Because like this is now
I dropped out of my masters. Like, no, it definitely was, dude. Like, it's also like Paul gave me the freedom to like kind of just use the space as I wanted.
I don't even know if people know that Paul even exists. Like, like a lot of people.
It's the urban legend.
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people would even assume that this is like, you know, you own the place and that the way you like do things here, like it is your playground essentially, right?
In a way, like, yes and no. Like I can
you're given freedom.
Yeah, but I definitely like everything. We need to like double check everything, make sure like Paul's happy with all the stuff. I'm not just gonna like bring in some crazy.
But he's usually quite happy with everything.
He is. Well, that's the thing. Like, he's carefree enough to just be like, yeah, bro, if you want to spend the time doing it, then do it. And that's why we've had just so many things. Yeah.
So having your own space available really allowed you to grow with this stuff, obviously.
Yeah, dude. Like, I think I feel like it's given me like a unique perspective in terms of like I've DJ'd, so I've been a performer, like I've had like Khaya, so I've been like an event, like a venue owner, and then like put on shows and that like as a promoter. So like it's definitely all helped me like realize how I should do it. Like that's why when I go to venues now, I treat them in a different way, because like I know how it is when people come in here and they want to do a thing, and then like
they don't have
like
respect.
Let them do it, but then they like put up the event like 2 days before, and they arrive here like 2 hours after they were gonna do sound check, and I'm like, dude's like fucking
and don't clean up afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
So
like it's definitely helped me with that, and also just kind of decide what I want to do, if you know what I mean. Like for the longest time it was just booking like rock bands, like that's all we did, and like,
well, it's because that's the scene we're in, and like it's really cool to see that the scenes has shifted. It's no longer just a white rock scene. Like the Durban music scene has become a more like I don't know. I don't want to like. I'm trying to think of the right word. But people, yeah, it's cross genre, cross cultural. It's just more of a, and you know, it's not like we didn't have like cross cultural stuff in the punk scene.
Yeah.
But it was kind of white driven culture, no matter what. And now that is changing, which is really cool.
Yeah. And that's like, I would suppose like some of our best shows have been here because it's just like there's been nights here, dude, where I've just been like, what the fuck am I actually watching, dude? Like we had this dude the one night when we had hangouts here, just rock up, some guy from like the States, and like he had his like beats and was just like playing his beats with cello along with it, and like just had this mad soulful voice. I was just like, Kenneth, like, how did you just bring this guy here, like Kenneth Gwele? I was just like, what the like
old Kenny,
and like how like I've never seen anything like this before, like, and there's been many of those like things here where I've just been like, this is like just actually an amazingly special time, and that's helped me like
so do you now like do you now know what you want to do?
Not really,
but you're doing all of this
like,
anyway.
Kind of like, yeah, like
we ever going to see a music festival out of you?
We want to one day. Yeah, that's like long term.
Like I feel like that's in the heart of anyone who like does gigs. Yeah. It's just like maybe a music festival.
Yeah, one day, like if we can get some money from people to do it. Like,
yeah, you need a lot of money for that.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I think things will go well with like Roots Up and that. Like we're managing Miss You now, Sean Ross.
Oh, cool.
Like
so yeah, what's Roots Up? What's the whole vibe?
Yeah, so it's management, events, and like booking agency. Like so, secretly, my undercover will is to use it to unionize the musicians in Durban in a secret way. Whereas like, so we'll handle like we'll be a booking agent for you. Like we won't like we can't manage everyone obviously, but like if you have any like corporate clients, like you go do your own gigs that you want to do, but as soon as it's like a venue that wants to hire you or something like that, we'll be able to like negotiate your rate for you if you want, because like negotiating your own rate is always the worst thing. Like you always end up paying for like way less than you want to. And then obviously artist management, so we're working, like I said, with Miss You now. We've got a couple of other artists that we're getting to a point where we'll be like, okay, now we are managing you, like they need to get their ducks in a row first. And then also, just events like the ones we're doing, and then offering like corporate bookings. So like what we worked with Diff already for their talent campus and a couple of other venues in Durban where you can just come to us and say, hey, we're having this music night, we need acts, and we'll find out what kind of vibe you're looking for, and then send you through a list that you can then choose from and be like, okay, that person would be rad, that person would be rad.
And these things are done in Durban, but by people who aren't a part of the scene, and like who aren't like I check websites like if you want to go book like a DJ or something like that, and it's just like who is this guy?
But then we also have like a swath of fucking like graphic designers and that we know that, so we're offering like we can pretty much build your whole event for you, just short of promoting it. Like
you're not offering that.
Like we'll do the social media promotion there, but like not through our page. You know what I mean? Like that's what I mean. Like we are like Carla will set you up and like do all your sponsored posts and your this and that, and but like we just won't put it as like Roots Up is doing this thing, because like you do too many things, then like it's definitely like we don't like we want to be like we're about like promoting everything, but not everything. You know what I mean? Like
you've got to be selective.
Yeah, like.
But at the same time, you are selective in the least selective way out of anyone I know.
like
you give everyone a chance as long as it sounds good. Like you're like, cool, let's like work.
Yeah, like we've done some weird things, like some very weird things. But like,
what's the weirdest gig you've done?
Dude, like I don't know. We've had. Like we just had like it's mainly like in the open mic and artist showcase stuff. Like we've had some very just. I don't know even how to explain it. Just like. Some of it doesn't sound like music even. Like some of it is just like, but it's like.
But it's still good to give people that platform.
Yeah, yeah, and like we've done some like like I've even like we booked this one lady like I forgot his name. We did spoken word, and like I've never fucked with spoken word, but that was fucking wild, dude. Like she had this dude on djembe like behind her, and this other lady just doing like vocal harmonies, and she was just like. Laying down truths about like men's perspectives of women and shit like that, and like Ems was just like, I feel so uncomfortable, and I was like, that's how you know it's good, dude. Because it was just like these words were making you just like, and the sound was just like, and you just like, yeah, dude, you're just like skin crawling, and you're just like, oh god, like I need to think about everything I've done ever. Like it was hectic, but good. Like no, but that's not what I'm saying. Like there's been some like, yeah, just
Nuts that weren't quite that good.
no, like yeah, just interesting. Like we've had like just weird like a lot of it's obviously just like guys that haven't honed their art yet, but like a lot of just like weird shit like coming out, like yeah.
I feel you. Okay, and then let's get into jawling just a little bit. Do you still like? How do you feel now in your 30s about some of the things you've done in your 20s as a jaller?
Just most of my 20s, dude. Like my 20s in general.
Because yeah, you used to party pretty hard, right?
Yeah, I feel like I've puked and passed out in probably any place that sells alcohol in Durban at least like once.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about the chundering, but
yeah, I used to chunder a lot. Like still occasionally, not so much anymore.
Oh man. What's like one of the wildest stories just from back in the day? Like, because fuck, dude, like I remember you've been very mean to Dirk a lot.
Oh no, for sure, but that's all deserved.
But you also, as I was saying, you also used to party with Skullboy, who is like a bit of a write-off, or was then. Like the two of you together is like a dangerous combination.
Yeah, dude, just like I don't know. With Lou, it was more like weird things. Like I had this uncle who like had this bar in Queensborough, like. And he asked me to come DJ vinyl, so like for a while, like Leo and I was just like taking a whole bunch of shrooms and going to like this bar in Queensborough, like where they were just like, like just a typical Queensborough bar, like you know what I mean? Like all the stereotypes were there, like and like yeah.
That doesn't sound like a good environment for shrooms. Right?
It was so weird, dude. Like, like I was telling like Louis about how he fucking laughed some dude on like the weekend, and then just like there's this Balian khaki just like shouting at me to turn up the Led Zeppelin, and like then this lady gets on the bar and starts like dancing, and I was just like, what is too much of this shit.
Well, we had one bad experience at a scub pub. I wasn't there, but that was the last scub pub.
Dude, that's the scub pub that ended the scub pubs, dude. Like just before Micro Pluto's set, like, hey, you can play our thing in Durban, and then someone gets stabbed.
Yeah. I was in Cape Town at the time, but I felt really bad because I'd helped organize that gig, and then
dude,
that's the worst thing that's ever happened at a gig like that I put together. Literally that. Like I mean, and it wasn't one of our like customers or anything. It was literally two patrons at that bar who were already there.
Scub, dude, that's what we said. Just was we went too far.
You went too far, and then you've also lived in digs quite a lot in your life. Like, do you think now living with your girlfriend has
so much better?
Has that but do you think like has that changed your life? Like, is that why you're now more responsible and more like? Because I mean, I kind of see like me like not hanging out with my friends as much, like has led me down a much saner path. Like since I've been with my girlfriend for like 4 years, and like I've definitely found myself calming down a lot more. So have you found that being a calming effect?
Yeah, I suppose so. Like, definitely. I don't know if it's all just part of growing up all hand in hand. Like, one goes with the other. Like, correlation, not causation. I don't know. Like,
I don't know. There's
there's
other friends of ours
like,
who are like...
Before Ems moved in, like Louis used to call it the triple nest. Like, I would just, like, get home on Friday and just, like, be on the couch smoking bongs and watching TV till, like, Monday. And there would be, like... 3 sets of shoes, 3 mugs, like, just like, and I would just like spend the weekend on the couch, just like fall asleep there, wake up at 2, be like, like eating stuff and falling asleep. So that changed for sure. But then I think it was mainly actually like last year that I was like started to calm down a lot. Like I was still just drinking a fuckload, like, but I just realized because I'm mainly like shit just gets easier if you're not
always
so fucked up. Like, like your own events are easier. You don't have to go there the next morning like hungover as fucking pack up sound.
Dude, I've lost so much equipment just from leaving it at the jaw because I was too drunk.
Yeah.
Like the number of headphones that I've lost.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's all of them, literally.
Yeah. And like it's also just like sometimes it's just you don't have to catch an Uber, and you can just like drive to a place, have like one drink, like watch the acts. Like it's a lot easier to go out and watch stuff if you're not getting fucked up, if you know what I mean. Like, because like if your thing is that when you go out and you watch, like go out somewhere and you like get fucked up, like on a Wednesday night when there's something on and you got something on a Thursday, it's like, oh no, I can't go out, like I've got this tomorrow. But if like,
it's like you could just go out,
you could just go there for like an hour and a half, watch some music and go home, and like it'll be cheaper, and like then you'll want to do it again when something else comes up, because it's not like, oh no, I can't go, like it's like
it's gonna take the laugh out of me.
Like
I'm gonna call, like, you know, like I'm gonna take the next week off, you know, it's gonna be an absolute bender. No, you can just enjoy it again. But what do you think? You think it's just growing up?
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Yeah, I suppose so. Also being broke, like we were talking about earlier. Like I generally drink when it's at Khaya or when I've got a bar tab for DJing, and like
But isn't that the weird thing? How we used to, like, we were talking about this before. How we used to drink like so much, like, and party so much, and like work so little, but still pay rent and still like have money. How do we not have money anymore? But we're no longer drinking. We're only jawling if we're throwing the party. Like, what has gone wrong?
I think it's also just like prioritizing, you know what I mean? Like we prioritize booze, and now like it gets to the point where I'm like, okay, well I can't actually justify spending that money on this if I haven't like paid for that or done that with that money yet. Like it would be irresponsible of me to go out drinking if I haven't sorted it out. When we were younger though, it was just like, just Joel, and like tomorrow the chips will fall and we'll see where they land. Like,
do you miss that irresponsible lifestyle a little bit, or you?
I do,
content?
Dude, so much. It's like I was saying to Ems, it's just like life was simpler. Like being a waiter, and like because for a while, like I had dropped out of varsity before dropping out this time. I have a history of it, and like for a while I was just like waitering, and it was just like that was like my life. You know what I mean? It's just like I literally, my expenses, like my concerns were like, go do work as a waiter and then just get drunk. And
you're
like,
not really
or
worried.
Eat food, or like, you know what I mean? There was like, and if I like, there wasn't even like the job pressure, because like if I lost that, like
you could just go waiter somewhere
else. Like there was just.
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, I lost quite a few waitering jobs because I eventually just got over them and just stopped going back.
Yeah, like, and it's something you can do.
You just go to the next one. Like, yeah.
So I definitely do miss that. Like, but it's. Yeah,
you miss it, but obviously, like,
no, things are better now. Like, definitely. That's why, like, whenever Ems goes away for like four days or so, I'll just like have like a full like 2 days where it's like just get a KFC Streetwise 2 with pup and maybe a Johnny's Roti, and like that's my food for like that 24-hour period, and I'll just not move from the couch.
Nice. So that's your time off.
Yeah, it's my vacay.
Oh man, I feel you. Like, I'm looking forward to, I don't know when, but like at some point I want to just literally take a week off of life, like just not do anything like at all, like just chill at home and watch stuff. I don't even watch stuff that much anymore because who has time? Like, I mean, there's also just always listening to music, and like that's the thing, when you get a part of the music, become part of the music scene, so do you agree with the thing, like make the thing that you love, like, you know, your job? Because you've essentially done that.
Yeah, I have done it, but like,
do you think that?
I think it's something to be cautious about, because it's like I'm lucky that it hasn't like made me bitter before, but like, well, yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I definitely got a bit bitter with like the whole music thing.
Yeah, it's like, it is something to be cautious about, like, because you don't want to destroy it. If it's something you love, you don't want to destroy it, so they don't necessarily just jump in. Like, I think, I suppose things have happened like quite slowly and organically with me. Like how, like, I never was like, hey, I'm gonna do music as like my livelihood. Like, it was always something that I just did on the side as something I dug, and
like you took
slowly,
opportunities
like,
when they presented themselves.
Came up to that point where I was like, oh, okay, well now it looks like I could, if I put a little bit more money.
So basically, you just got all this experience, and then you were like, what do I do with this experience?
Yeah, but it was also like I got it, like, realized how to do things that would make me happy, like, you know, in a way that would make me happy. Like, it wasn't like I was. That's what I always tell others, get a side hustle. Like, straight up get your side hustle, so then you can be like selective about how you want to do that thing you like and what you want to do with that thing you like. Like, otherwise it will make you bummed, you know what I mean? Like, I've seen lots of those who are like, for instance, like graphic designers who are like, oh yeah, okay, like they go study and they're like, oh, we're gonna do these great things,
And then they get
just
into
putting
advertising
like
and-
different shades of pink on a game flyer, like, and like that's gonna make you like, but like, and then a lot of them don't do art like at all of any sort
because they're
like,
over it
after
because
they
they've spent
left.
the whole day busy graphic designing instead of
So rather be a waiter and just cover your expenses, and then you can actually do that thing and like grow it how you want to grow it.
I think that's some fantastic advice and probably a pretty good point to end this conversation.
Oh.
This has been a really cool chat, man. If people want to get a hold of you, how can they do so?
You can follow me on the Facebooks, Instagrams, or Twitter. Fuego Heat.
031 and some of that.
on some of it, yeah. And then there's our Roots Up. You can check out rootsupentertainment.com, and we've got contact information on there if you want to use our services.
And then obviously people can always come into Khaya Records.
Oh yeah, like yeah, I'm not always here, but I am here sometimes. But it's always a dope place to hang out.
Yeah, pretty much always. Like whenever you need a space to hang. And then from now on, people can catch you also at Republic a lot.
Yeah, so Roots Up is taking over curating their live music there. They're going to be having stuff every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, be it DJs or full acts, whatever, something different all the time.
Cool. Well, thank you very much. We'll catch you at Republic very, very soon. I'm looking forward to both Sunday school and for the Thursday vibes. I'm really amped.
Sweet, shot, dude.